This is what good things about a human being. We are able to adapt, we are able to learn, we are able to change if we want to. And if you use your brain and your grit and perseverance, you can change. As a human, we can do everything, seriously, everything.
Welcome to So Where Are You From? I'm your host, Nishi Bagheri, a first-generation Iranian-American by identity and an immigration attorney by profession. Today we have Mr. Hamid Rouchdi, owner and director of Cafe Vendome, joining us today. With 2 locations here in Georgia, Hamid has enriched this city with his magnificent cafes that exhibits different cultures through his menu and even music. I find his cafes as a little oasis escape from the boring daily grind of life in America to feeling being taken away abroad for even a moment. Thank you for joining me, Hamid.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for this introduction. Very kind words.
Of course.
I like it.
Thank you. So what I ask everybody is, so where are you from? It's always a loaded question for people.
For me, it's even more than I'm from Morocco. It's because I belong to actually 3 countries.
Okay.
I have 3 passports. I'm French, Moroccan, American.
Okay.
So born in Morocco and left Morocco when I was 18 to study in France, in Lille specifically. And I lived in France, I worked in France, then I moved to Italy. I'm not Italian, but I lived 3 years in Italy.
Okay.
Then I went back to France, to French Riviera, and I came to United States. So I'm adopted by Americans too. So the foundation of Hamid is Moroccan.
Okay, the foundation
because
is Hamid.
This is my root.
Yes.
A tree without roots, it's nothing. So if you ask me who I am Moroccan in my behavior, in my way of thinking. Education, French, Moroccan, and American. So I belong to actually 3 countries, French, Moroccan, American.
Very nice. We have a triple attack here.
Thank you.
So the first time we met, I love to describe how we met, was I was one day sitting at your cafe, just taking my laptop, doing some work. And next thing I know, as I'm doing work, I'm singing this popular Persian song to myself because I'm hearing it like in the speaker in the cafe. And I'm looking around like, where am I for a minute? It's like, why is this Iranian music playing? And next thing I know, I see you and you introduce yourself as the owner. And I love that. It was really great. And since then, every time I bring my laptop to one of your cafes and you have to come in, we have long discussions over like travel, politics, religion, everything. And I just really enjoyed again, learning other perspectives. It's been fun.
Thank you, likewise.
And one of the most distinct things I noticed about your cafe is how you greet each and every one of your customers. And I think that's very unique and distinctful. Like you either say you know them by their first names or you have conversations with them. And I think that it reminds me of that sense of that Middle Eastern culture you bring to your cafe of how you greet your guests and make them feel at home.
Exactly. That's why I said I'm Moroccan.
Yes.
Because the French would not do what I'm doing.
Really? The French?
No, the French is different way of doing customer service.
Okay.
So Moroccans is actually, you feel like you're coming to my house.
Yes.
This is what my parents used to do.
Yes.
My parents open doors in the neighborhood, everybody is coming, everybody welcomed. You can eat anytime, you can share tea, Moroccan mint tea. It's always a social, happy life.
And I think it's a Middle Eastern thing where you learn to greet people.
Exactly,
It's like wherever you enter a room, you greet everybody.
Exactly. I see my mom, how she's doing in the neighborhood, she's like communicating, greeting everyone.
Yeah.
Everybody will go see her and say, okay, I need this, and she will give it. People come for any service, anything. It's just amazing how Moroccans are from the hospitality point of view.
Yes.
And generosity and open-mindedness and curiosity. Do you want to learn? Do you want to know who you are? Do you want to talk with you? Do you want to share with you?
Yes.
Then there is a Moroccan mint tea every time, like 4 or 5 times a day. This kind of atmosphere where I grew up, this is what made me who I am.
So how different is the French then?
The French will be more, how can I say, more professional. They will not be like...
as engaging.
Yeah, like I was in Lille, for example. In north of France, they are known for very good people, but they will take time to know you.
Yes.
In the beginning, it's like a little distance. And then when they know you, you are welcome to their house. Like I remember I was in boarding school in France. And I was in a room where 3 French, it was me with them, and they were learning about me and talking about me to their families in the weekend. When they go in the weekend, I was staying in the boarding school. So I realized one day one mom came and she invited me. And I said, okay, of course, I'm coming. So when I went there, everything I liked was on the table.
Oh, wow.
Everything, even sweet things. They observed and they take time to know who you are. Are you a good person? And then they open. And my best friend until today are French from the north. And I just went 3 weeks ago to see one of them.
Yeah.
Actually, my first French friend. When I went in this boarding school, his name Jean-François. He invited me to La Rochelle like three weeks ago.
Oh,
We're still good friends. But it took 3 months.
Yeah.
So, but it's not same warmth and same. It's cultural. I mean, French and Moroccans are different. They are different way of hospitality. Moroccans are known for hospitality and the food and open doors. It's completely different.
So, what made you move from Morocco to France?
So I was 18. I was
wanted to leave the nest.
Yeah, I was always dreaming of being over in another country, because how can I say, in my city it was a city where you can study until high school and that's it.
Okay.
It was a small city. Then you had the choice to go to Marrakesh, go to Casablanca, Rabat, or overseas. I was accepted in engineering school in Rabat, but I was going to stay in the same environment. I'm curious. I want to discover the world, and I was lucky. I learned math and physics and science in French.
Okay.
So, and French were welcoming like Moroccans with good grades for free. We don't pay.
Very nice.
So I traveled I wanted to challenge myself, get out of my comfort zone and see how I can do outside. So I went to France to compete with best French, actually, in the north, the best, and in their language, and in mathematics and physics. So it was very, very challenging. But I wanted outside the nest. I wanted discover another culture, practice my French.
Yes.
I wanted to just to have some experiences. I didn't know I would come back or stay. I ended up staying in France. I didn't even come back.
So Morocco was once occupied by the French, and so there must be is there a lot of French influence still today in Moroccan life, and did that help you adjust to living in France?
Yes and no. So as I said, we speak French since the age of 9 in public school.
Okay.
The fact that we study this science and math and physics in French, it helps to know about French, and we study French, of course. So we know about France, we know about geography, we know about history. And by the way, if you take, and we're in Morocco, so Morocco was independent at that time. Imagine American kids here, and we tell them in elementary school, you will start math and physics in French. How the American kids will react? It's impossible, right? It's like, why have to study this mathematics in French? We kids, Moroccans, we didn't even question this. It was natural for us. We speak Moroccan outside with our parents. We get out. We don't speak French. Only like kind of what we call high society in Morocco. That there's some privileged people that they have French. They speak French even in their home. We just study in French everything in math, physics, and science. We don't question. So we don't see any advantage or disadvantage until we grow up. So when you're 18, you find out that you have assets to go to overseas. It is actually almost a passport.
Wow.
They didn't ask you how much money you have. Nothing. It's just show me your grade, and if we accept you, you can come over. So that's why I left. And so the French culture, we know it from with TV, with movies, what we study in classrooms, and if we know any French that they come as tourists. I used to be curious to meet French tourists and talk with them and try to practice my French. So it helps, but when you arrive in France, I can tell you it was nothing to do what I was expected, because my French, as I was thinking I was good in French, I was ranked #1. It was not enough.
Was it because it wasn't
enough? It was not enough. I had to, let's say I want to look for a cheap hotel, or we call it auberge de jeunesse.
Yes.
So when I mentioned that in the train station, I had to repeat myself 5 times. They didn't get me. I have strong accent. I had strong accent. They were not understanding. I said, oh my God, where I am. So my French is not enough. So you realize that actually you are not ready to be competing with French. You know things, but it's not enough. So after, I think 6 months, then you become a little bit fluent and you start understanding the system and French system and the behavior. So it helps, but it's not enough.
How is the French? Because you hear sometimes in the news over the years about how they're accepting or non-accepting of immigrants. Like, how did you feel of that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm trying to be politically correct here. It's a very, because when you think about the last election in France in 2022, it was 58 for Macron and 41 for Le Pen, which is Front National, which is a racist group.
True. And you hear a lot about with the Algerians, how they treat the Algerian population.
Yeah, I will tell you about that, because French Morocco and French Algeria is completely different. Even from the colonization point of view or protectorate, it's different. But first, there is, in any country, there are people that they are, let's say, racist or xenophobe, or they don't like immigrant in anywhere.
Yes.
The difference is more, the French are expressive, they express themselves.
Okay.
In other countries, other cultures, they hide and they try to be discreet.
Yes.
The French are very outspoken, they do strike, and they will say, so it shows clearly in numbers.
The sentiment's clear.
Yeah, so, and in general, based on my experience, people that they are really tough on immigrant or they don't like them, they are people that they are not educated in general. Actually, if you see the map in France who voted for Front National, there are areas where there are a lot of, let's say, old mines where you used to do coal mine, or south where you have a lot of retirees. So it's not, if you are educated and traveled and French, and generally you know the difference between an immigrant that is a good person and an immigrant that is doing bad stuff. And you don't put everybody in the same basket.
You don't clump everybody, yes.
No, you judge based on the behavior of the person, not based on the race or the color. But when you are not educated everywhere in the world, you have this kind of problem that you don't think logically, you just behave. It comes from your parents, also how they spoke about immigrants, about foreigners.
Yes.
And when you are a kid, you learn a lot from your parents, school, and the personal experiences. You may have some bad experiences with some foreign people, and then here you go. If you are not educated, you put everybody in the same.
Did you ever feel like not belonging when you were in France?
So there is
or accepted.
So when I arrived to France, in this boarding school, in the room, they were surprised first to see somebody coming from Morocco to compete in high-level math. I remember they were testing me. How come you had your high school diploma, but you are not having any calculator in your hand? Where is the calculator?
Wow.
Where do you come from? And they thinking I was from the desert with camels. I said, yes, of course. I didn't even see a camel in my life.
One of the inventors of math,
So let's say I remember a reaction of some students. They were using jokes, but they are and French love jokes, but kind of racist jokes.
Yes, a little passive aggressive.
Yes, and then and some actually did some reaction. I don't know if I can list one that I remember. I remember very well. He ended up being my friend at the end, but he was, I think he got it from his parents.
Yeah.
He had this kind of chicken bones from the food where we have lunch cafeteria, and he put it in my desk and on my desk, and he said, "This is for Hamid," and they didn't know what he said. When I came, I said, "What's that?" And they said he did it, and we knew he was very racist by how he was raised. So the first time in my life, I felt like I had to fight. I fought with him, but he didn't fight. He was scared, and I put him against the window. He didn't fight, I didn't fight, and I said, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?" So you are not fighting, and you are doing all this. And then I talked with him. He ended up being a good friend. He understood. Aww. Yeah, seriously, it's like I will never forget. This is one of the things that happened to me. That's very seldom that French would be like reacted like this with me. Maybe one time when I was in kind of an environment. There's an old lady who she was a little bit aggressive, but that's it. And I have to confess, I'm not very dark skinned. People.
That's true.
People don't.
You can pass.
Yeah. This is, I think, it's advantage and inconvenience. So,
Yes.
So I'm not visible in as a kind of Moroccan with dark skin, and I'm always with people like students, engineers. So my environment was not in the areas where immigrants used to be, because, as you know, French did this big mistake. They put immigrants together.
Yes.
So they had the Italians immigrant, they had the Polish immigrant,
Algerians,
Portuguese, and then some Spanish and North Africans, and Sub-Saharan Africans that they are also there. So you cannot put everybody together in the same place and you expect some miracles to come.
To assimilate.
No, exactly. Look at me. I was in a boarding school. I was almost the only one.
Yes.
So I get everything. I get the culture, I get the language, and I was fine.
That's true.
You cannot put them together.
That's interesting.
Yeah, this is how they started actually in the beginning, the big mistake. But then from these people who were together, some people succeeded and others didn't.
Yeah.
And then we complain about their behavior, but because the beginning was wrong.
Yes.
So I seriously, honestly, compared the little thing with this friend that was in this boarding school. I didn't struggle. I heard a lot of things, but not to me.
Not to you personally.
Yeah, so that's why I'm okay to be French, happy French.
Happy French, yes.
When I'm in France,
you're okay to
when
claim
I'm in
being
France, I feel home. I don't feel really that I have any issue. Seriously.
So you went into engineering, and you had this amazing job in France. Well, what was the company again?
So my first job, it was a big company actually. It's kind of equivalent to IBM. It's called Bull, Bull. It was a very big corporation with doing computers and mainframes. And I was doing software development for telecommunication. I was actually creating gateways between IBM World and Bull World.
Okay.
And this is how I started my career. And again, I was hired by, this is where you see the difference in French. I was hired by a French engineer who was open-minded, culture traveled. He knew about the Arab world. He knew about a lot of things. His actually activity during weekend helping immigrants in the prefecture where the immigrant go for kind of green card or document.
Wonderful!
It's
Wow.
kind of let's say Mary. Not here. We can. I don't know where we go for paper for documentation. So he would go with this immigrant. They don't speak the French, and he will help them to translate, and he will make sure that they are taking care of them. They are not throwing the paper to them because sometimes they don't treat them well. So he was there, and he's I remember, a very wise man with a beard and blue eyes, and he will go and he will defend them and he will help them. This is real French that he traveled. Mm-hmm. So I worked with him a few years, and then I it was doing the software development, and I started traveling, working with customers, French customers. Then I was hired by an American company that was in New Hampshire, actually. This is where I discovered America. I came for training in New Hampshire and worked with them in Paris. Then I started struggling with traffic, and I asked to be moved to Italy to avoid traffic in Paris. So my customers were all large corporations, all big banks.
So you had this career, everything. You had your life, you had your career in Europe, but you picked up and left it all to come to the U.S. Yeah. Did you think the U.S. had better opportunities for you?
So
now you're even farther away from home.
The story, but the story is when I came back from Italy, I went in French Riviera, and it was an amazing experience. But I won a green card when I was in Italy.
Okay, the diversity green card.
Diversity, but I never used it. I never think to use it. Mm-hmm. So I was coming back, and I was in R&D department, and I realized that some taxes were added in my paycheck. Some taxes that I didn't understand why we're paying taxes, and I said, why not try something somewhere else where we have less taxes and we can learn another culture, another language? Because for me, speaking another language, having another culture is having new life.
Yes.
So starting again, a new life. So French life, Italian life. Now why not United States? So I get this diversity, and I went to Paris, and I end up being here. But actually, I was going to Silicon Valley I bought a book, JavaScript, and I was going to do, again, software development. So I resigned from my company. They said, why you resign? You just stayed 1 year. I said, I need to go to the United States. I want to start another experience. And he told me, you don't work with us in Atlanta. We have an office. I said, really? Yeah. So they interviewed me twice, and they ended up paying everything to bring me here, everything, trips and car, hotels, everything. So they took care of me, and then I came here, and it's like another world for me. I was so excited.
From beautiful France to the south.
Yeah, but going through the same stories again, language barriers again.
Yes.
Because you want to buy a house, you don't even have the vocabulary to buy a house.
Yes.
They don't teach you this in school. Same thing, meeting people, understanding the culture, the South, and being able to get again from your comfort zone and try something new. And for me, it was the third time.
Yeah.
It was fine, and I liked the way we do business in the United States. I think this is something that I noticed, the way we do service, the way we do business.
Really?
Yeah, and the way we can grow. After 6 months, I became a team lead. I was still
There's
struggling.
no cap.
No cap.
In France, there is a cap.
No, exactly, because it's very hard. It's very elitist and very hard based on where are you from, where did you study, where you come from. All these things play. In the United States, what do you bring to the table? What's your skills? What's your strength? And then you can do it. Yet they give you responsibilities. I was impressed when they did this to me. They sent me to meet with I remember Star Alliances, which is airlines doing Star. I had to help them to design new network, and I was thrown in this project by myself with limited
resources.
Yeah, and then.
But is that a good thing?
It was a good thing because they get me out of my comfort zone. I love when somebody push me out of my comfort zone. Yeah, and I remember it was so hard, but at the same time you learn when it's hard. There's nothing coming in life without working hard, without being pushed outside of your comfort zone. You cannot have both.
So speaking of change and being pushed outside your comfort zone, then you went to start a school. You opened a school here in Atlanta called the Da Vinci School.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you get into that business?
This is actually, it was a need. It was a need because first I had 3 boys that I was very, it was pushing them to learn French because for me you need at least one language.
Okay.
So, and my ex-wife at that time was struggling with teaching them French with me, but she was not happy with schools. We were always complaining about schools, and so it was a little bit bothering me. I couldn't fix it. I saw her doing good things with the kids teaching, but still, we cannot just complain about schools and directors. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I was lucky. I was doing an MBA in 2007 at Emory.
Okay.
It was an executive MBA, which is actually, at that time, it was the 6th in the world. Imagine the professors and amazing professors. I love them. Students, they were all experienced from GE, from Delta, from Coke, people that they had a lot of experiences. You put 70 people like this in some classroom and good professors. What happened? I was learning I was like a sponge.
Yeah.
An engineer who had no idea about finance, no idea about accounting, no idea about strategy. I was just happy to learn. So I was learning, enjoying and sharing, especially my international experience. And one class that something happened in this class, it was the entrepreneurship class.
Entrepreneurs.
So I have a project for me. It was kind of consulting company, and have group project. It was kind of, I remember well, it was a kind of luxurious rental of cars. And there is another group I remember was talking about preschool in large corporations like Coke or GE. You come with your kids and you put your kid in the school in the school
like a
within the company. They did amazing research about education in Atlanta, about competition. And so at the end, I was listening. I was thinking about my ex-wife. I said, wow, it's amazing if I can do this, but internationally.
Yeah.
And switch it to international. So when they finished, I remember going to see you and one of my colleagues. I said, do you want to do this project? He said, no, it's just for the project. I said, can I get all this data? They gave it to me, and they switched it to French English, French, English, Spanish for little kids from 18 months to 5 years.
Wow.
And they said, this is it. I have to do it because while I'm studying and I'm getting excited and I'm not practicing anything for this MBA, what's the point? Paying more than 80,000? Do it. Do something. And I have nothing to lose because I'm an engineer.
It's a lot to lose.
No, I would lose money. I would lose money. Money
that's amazing.
for me is
you took that leap of faith.
Huh?
You took charge.
Yeah, because money
is
it's not more important. I have degrees of engineering. I can find job everywhere I want, when I want. But I felt like if I don't try this, especially there is a need for my kids first, and for the community, because they didn't have anybody take care of kids seriously at this level, like below 5 years old.
Okay.
So I remember coming to my house and I said to my ex-wife, well, I have a project for you. Either we do it or we stop complaining about schools.
That's good.
I said, you do the program, you know what you are doing. I see you working with the kids. And she had this very amazing way of teaching language without going like a tough way, but more, let's say, I remember I have some Airbus books because I worked for Airbus. So she would take a book about Airbus and planes and she would introduce French using this book. So I liked it. And I said, okay, do the program. I showed you how to do slides and PowerPoints and I will do the business. And it was scary for her, especially for her.
Yes.
And for me, it was, it doesn't matter. I don't care. We do it. It doesn't work. It's fine. And when the school started, I was hired actually after that, and I went back to France. And then she managed the school, and she did well with just my financial help.
Yeah.
I was not involved in actually operating. I just did the business.
Okay.
So the idea is need for kids, community needed, and we come up even with some concept like corporation. Pay teachers very well, give them bonuses based on how they achieve their goals, and make sure that they are happy, because the kids do well when the teachers are happy.
And this is the American model, it's not the European model.
Exactly. But we combined because the French are very, how can I say, they are a little bit tough on the kids. That's very strict.
Uh-huh.
And the Americans are very loose, too much. There is a middle.
Yes.
And also French pay attention to all these details. Education is so structured and the teachers have degrees. It's very structured. You can't find that in some countries, like say in South America. So you have to leverage these experiences and the way of teaching, and you come up with a system, and school is still working. My ex-wife, she is doing well, and I wanted to grow it, but we didn't agree on the way of managing it. But that's why I.
And then you took another change. So what's the next change? The next change is your Cafe Vendome, located here in Georgia. You have 2 locations now.
This was a crazy idea too.
I mean, to get into the food business, that's.
I never expected to do that in my life. It's again, I needed to eat well.
Somewhere to eat well.
I needed to eat well. I needed to eat healthy. I needed to eat without preservatives.
So all your changes was something that you found a lack of that you needed to fulfill.
Yes.
And you took charge instead of complaining about it.
Exactly, because I have passion and I see the need and I want to change.
Yeah.
I'm changing the game. Basically, what I did with school and food is changing the game. Is taking care of kids, taking care of people, and changing the game and do it right. Don't do things. It's a concept of life. Don't do things halfway. Do it right, well, or you don't do it.
Yeah.
So I put all my heart, all my ideas, all my money in this something I do.
Yes.
This is it. And so the food, it was actually, I was just, I was thinking creating a business, give it to someone to manage. So I hired a manager, and I was not going to manage. I was just going to work as an engineer, come in the weekend, eat, and help him.
Yes.
He didn't show. I had to jump in and learn everything, learn how to do espresso, learn how to manage.
But don't you think that's a good model to learn? They always say learn the groundwork first, for bosses to know the groundwork all the way up.
It's true. I didn't know I would be able to do it. Seriously, it was for me like, I couldn't see myself doing espressos and managing students, and I used to manage engineers. I struggled in the beginning because my expectation was so high.
Yes.
You know, when you're working with kids and people don't have the same way of doing things, and you want them to be kind of engineers.
And work mentality is different in different countries.
It was so hard, and but I adapt. This is what good things about a human being. We are able to adapt. We are able to learn. We're able to change if you want to. And
Yes.
if you use your brain and your grit and perseverance, you can change. As a human, we can do everything, seriously, everything. I couldn't even believe I could do this.
So with your cafe, you infuse both cultures, I see, of the French and the Moroccan into your menus. How did you think of incorporating both? How did you think about that when you're incorporating both cultures into your menu?
So I never thought about doing it because I was thinking French, pure French.
Pure French.
But I was lucky to find this lady. She was, her background was, her parents were Jewish Moroccans. So they migrated from Casablanca when they were 15. So as we know, the Jewish Moroccans are very attached to Morocco. So she came to help me. She was introduced to help me to decorate. So she had this Moroccan background in her, even if she didn't know about. She didn't live in Morocco. She actually, when we were working together, she went on vacation. So when we were working decorating, she came up with this tile, Moroccan tile. And she said, I would love to do this here. I said, no, we are French. She said, no, but don't worry, it will be adding something. So I was trying, and then I said, okay, fine, let's do it. And I end up having this kind of Moroccan-French atmosphere.
Yeah.
And
even
I
in your
loved it.
ingredients, too, now. You
This
incorporate your ingredients.
This came after the ingredients, actually, what happened. So I was doing, let's say, veggie omelette, veggies and omelette. But I was adding olives from Morocco, actually, from the city where I was born.
Yeah.
I bought olives from the city where I was born, and I was putting in this veggie, and I was putting tomato, and people were asking me, what's this, and I was telling them, this is Moroccan olive, and they wanted it. So I created Moroccan olives and Moroccan omelette, and I added Moroccan mint tea.
Yes.
And my plan in the future is adding the real Moroccan mint tea with the fresh mint.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, and everybody will be coming from everywhere in
Yes.
Atlanta, because if I do Moroccan mint tea, the real one, oh wow.
And then you have the Moroccan music, you have American music, you have French
Yes.
music, Persian music. Yeah, you just feel like a little oasis, like this little escape.
You know why? I created this playlist from scratch because I believe food and music make people connect in different cultures. They all eat and they all can hear rhythms.
Yes.
So when you come to Cafe Vendome, you have this kind of food that connects you to the world, and the French and Moroccan, and you have Italian paninis. But then you listen to music and you travel. It's 2 times actually, the music from 80s, 70s to now, and different languages, many languages. So I'm trying to make the change, as I said. I'm trying to make people relate, to think bigger than Atlanta, the United States.
That's very nice, refreshing.
Exactly, the world is bigger.
Yes.
There are cultures that they brought so much to this civilization. I mean, remember, civilization from Persian, from Romans, from Greeks, from Arabs. They all did something.
Yes.
We are here inheriting from the civilization. People forget this. So they should reflect where this come from. It's not coming from the sky. Somebody did it before.
Yes.
Al-Khwarizmi invented algorithm. He was Persian.
Yes.
The first eye surgery was done by an Arab in Andalusia, because remember, the Moroccan crossed to Spain for 800 years. So there are so many exchanges in Mediterranean countries and Middle Eastern countries, so many discoveries, so many values that we have that they are seen now in Europe and United States. So I want people to reflect using food, music, and I talk also with customers. I share, and want people to reflect.
Do you ever miss life back in Morocco or France, and would you ever consider moving back?
So I went to Morocco and France middle of June this year, after 6 years. I was not thinking I missed, but I really, really missed.
What aspect of it did you miss?
So in France, I missed this kind of, especially when I went to La Rochelle, I really said to my friend, I want to retire in this city. It's relaxed, people are in the coffee, and it's the boats and the marina.
Yes.
Yeah, and they are all having good time. They go to buy groceries and fruits and meat in Saturday morning with bikes.
Yeah.
It's then you bike, you go to the beach. It's really relaxed life and amazing. I prefer small cities than living in Paris. So I missed this good food. I actually had a croissant in this city from a baker, there are two baker and pastry chef. The best croissant in France was in this place where I was.
Oh, wow.
And I talked with them, and we may collaborate in the future.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
So this I missed. And I missed in Morocco the hospitality, the food, the welcoming, the fun, the family.
But could you move back and live in that system?
So in Morocco, I never worked. I studied, but based on what I heard from my friend, I don't think I will adapt to work.
Yeah.
I think my expectation from work and the way I think from take French way and American way, I might not be able to adapt.
Yeah.
Based on what I understood. I can be there on vacation, I can be there in retirement,
Yes.
but I don't see myself working. In France, I was thinking I could work again in France. I tried Airbus for 2 years. Not only my kids didn't adapt to the French school system, but myself, I found myself different. So when I used to be in France, I was okay because it's all you know.
Yeah.
So you have Moroccan background, and then you have
Yes.
French, and you prefer the French
That's all
system.
you knew.
All you know. Yeah, this is how it is. As soon as you learn something else,
Yes.
and you find it refreshing or more interesting or bringing you some values or getting you from your comfort, something that excites you and you find it better, then as humans, you never want to go back.
Yes.
You always prefer
Go
better.
forward. Yes.
Always forward, better. So I think I would not be able to work in France except small projects, but I would not be able to go work again in a corporation in France. No,
Yeah.
I don't see myself doing that.
How about what would as we close our conversation, for the immigrants that are coming to the U.S. and are interested in starting a business, what piece of advice do you have for them?
As somebody coming?
Yeah, someone arriving to the U.S.
So first, my advice, never do business when you come to a country first, let's say, few months. You can't.
Yeah.
You can, but it's risky because you don't know the culture, you don't know the neighborhood, you don't know the city, you don't know the competition, you just can't do it. It's better to come, find a place where you live, put your money, if you are an investor, let's say you come with your money as an investor, you put your money on the side and you do something. You stay in the city, you communicate with people, you know the city, you know the areas, because locations are important. The way of people, how they think are important. The competition is important. So then once you understand where you are, then you can start your own business based on what you basically, hopefully you have some differentiation. You are bringing something to the table. If you have an idea, you are covering a need, you are changing the game, you are bringing some value different from what you have, you will succeed. But there is one advice that I will take very, how can I say, it's very important advice and very critical, which actually I didn't know when I started, is the human resources part. You cannot do any business, if you rely on people, you cannot do any business until you analyze, are there enough employees?
Yes.
How they think, what they want, how much you pay them, can you retain them, can you train them easily? Really master this human resources part, because
that's the hardest part of a business.
Exactly. This is
It's not conducting the business, whether it be a doctor conducting medicine or anything. It's the hardest part. It's the human resource part.
This is the only part that I struggled with.
Yeah.
If I can't actually. I tried many things. You can't solve it because humans are complex.
Yes.
Human is a very complex.
Would that be
machine.
multicultural? Would that be the same issue in France, do you think, or is it more here in the U.S.?
A good question, because in France, let's say you are having a coffee.
Yeah.
In France, the one that you see serving your coffee, he retires in this place. It's a profession.
Yes.
You see him retiring. They get retirement. They get healthcare. They get
Wow.
everything. They stay and they work and they build families with these jobs. Here, who is working in cafes and restaurants? Somebody between studies, somebody who doesn't know what to do,
True.
waiting for something, somebody who is lost, somebody who wants to have fun with making coffee. These people don't stay.
Yeah.
They'll never stay.
They're not going to invest into
When
it.
they stay, exactly, 2-3 years, and then they say, okay, I want to do something else. So you end up training and hiring and training, and it's so much effort and energy. And if you don't take this with the kind of Zen way and relax, it can make you sick.
Yes.
So many people lose it. You have to be calm and you have to understand this parameter that very sometimes painful and some tough, but you need to take it easy.
It's one thing owning a business, but running it different because they have their own culture of how they run it, and that you have to understand.
Exactly. It's very challenging. This is the only advice I can give them. And never, if you like risks and you are an entrepreneur, never say, I may lose, or it's not a good idea. Always take a risk. Always get out from your comfort zone. Always try, because you cannot do well in your life if you don't get out from your corporations.
Very true.
This 9 to 5, it's limiting you so much.
Yes.
You don't see it until you get out.
Yes.
You have so much potential. It's better to get out and try something and grow, and instead of being like same like work or environment, your personality, your brain, nothing change. And so many people are frustrated with corporation, but
yes.
they don't dare. So I would encourage anyone to try to get out from corporation and try something, and have some plan B and plan C always,
yes.
of course.
Well, thank you so much, Hamid. I enjoyed our
You're
conversation.
welcome.
It's
You're
wonderful
welcome.
to know, you kind of give it insight, what if I want to move over abroad, what to expect,
Yes.
take my work abroad now.
Yes.
But it's amazing. Thank you for sharing
You're welcome.
your
Thank
insight
you.
to 2 countries,
Yeah.
3 countries.
Yeah, I didn't share too much about Italy, but 3 years only in Italy.
Yeah.
But I love Italy too.
Yes.
Italians are nice and friendly and welcoming.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's a lot of learning, actually. Thank you, because you make me now nostalgic.
Oh,
You like brought me to the past.
I brought your whole childhood up,
Yeah,
your life
exactly.
back
And-
to you.
And there is no future.
Your life
without
flashed before
past.
your eyes.
Exactly. Anything you do today and future depends on what happened in the past.
Yes.
Anything. You cannot live without past, and you leverage the past to grow and to go forward.
That's true.
Yeah.
That was very inspirational. I love your courage on the change, the constant pivots and change and taking charge.
Yes.
That takes a lot.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Not a lot of people can do that.
It's a way of living. It's once you taste it, you are done. You cannot go back. And I'm sure I would do more in the future.
Yes, can't wait to see.
I'm always looking for something.
That's amazing.
Always.
Keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was great having you.
Merci beaucoup.